I'm Cal,
I'm Elliot.
and welcome to Shitbox.
Been a
Boring week.
boring week, yeah.
Pretty boring week. I haven't done much this week.
We were meant to go to BMW Live, but I think we chinned it off.
I just finished nights.
And I'm still trying to catch up on sleep from various activities.
Yeah, we had the problem with
Oh yeah,
the
so
punto.
when we stopped recording last week, my other half turned up with her punto with an engine warning light and 2 codes.
Plugged it in.
Random misfires, and it was a P0.
Camshaft intake advanced timing.
Yeah, it's P011, something like that. It's P011.
Camshaft intake sensor advanced timing.
Which is scary, because it could mean a couple of things. What it meant is a sensor had gone.
Yeah, so how easy was it to change?
Apart from taking the ECU out of the car.
What?
Yeah.
That's it. Oh. You got to take the ECU out of the car.
Yeah. So on the punto, I mean, I probably could have squeezed my hands under. It was easier to just unplug disconnect that actually.
Yeah.
Because the ECU's attached to the cam cover for some reason, or the engine cover. I don't know why. Why can't we just have them in footwells like normal people?
My brother's just taken his punto off the road.
Oh yeah.
For he failed its MOT on a rotted subframe.
A rotted subframe.
Yeah, rotted front subframe.
On a car that's 2010.
2010, yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So he was like, "It's not worth changing. So I'm just going to buy a new one."
A new punto?
No, I don't think he's going to get a punto. I think he wants to follow suit and get a BMW. I think he's been looking at a 1 Series for a while.
Do you know what I've been looking at? Old school C63. I want the old one
I do like a Super Saloon,
but I don't want the new ones where the engine. I want the old the old 6.3 litre, the proper fucking C63. Before they went, we're gonna have more boost and more this and fucking take away a bit of displacement. I want it to sound like a C63 because some of the new ones,
they just don't, do
they? I know it's all to do with environmentally friendly and pollutions and shit.
Back when they were naturally aspirated as well. Because, don't get me wrong, I love a turbo, but a naturally aspirated car does sound nicer. Not
only that, the old 6.3 litre engines are solid.
Yeah.
The new ones, they might be solid, but we haven't had I don't want to invest into an engine because we know new engines are not going great. BMW's had a bit of a history in the last couple of weeks.
Actually, did you know that Ford had quietly changed from a belt to a chain on the 1 litre EcoBoost?
I did.
I didn't. I only found out the other day. I was watching a Drive Tribe video where they were stripping down 1 litre EcoBoost to show you what the problems were.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Ford have quietly gone to a chain and not really said anything.
My EcoBoost had a chain. But the glove...
No, it's only since 2022 that they've gone to a chain.
No, my 2019 had a chain.
Did it?
I could be wrong.
No, you are wrong.
It might be the Fiestas from 2022. I had a Focus. And the engines, even though they're the same...
Yeah, but was yours a 1 litre?
Yeah.
It would have been about...
Even though the same architecture, the engine blocks are slightly different in the Fiesta.
There might be a chain on the Fiesta then.
Because if you look at the Fiestas, they don't even come with like an engine cover.
Oh, do they not?
But the Focus does.
Oh.
And the turbos are in a slightly different place on the Fiestas. Turbos at the front and on the Focus.
There is a lot less real estate to fit it all in.
Yeah.
In a Fiesta though.
So the things are slightly different.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, swap that sensor on the...
Just buy diesels. That's all I'm saying.
So I swapped the sensor on the punto.
Yeah.
Cost a total of £26 and a bit of an oil top up. And the code cleared itself. I was like, shit.
Suspect.
But when I plugged it into torque, it was reading, like the sensor's reading something mad, like minus 56 degrees. And I was like, what? And what it is... Are
they VVT, those engines?
No. Is that's the one I worked on is the 77 brake horsepower, so 8 valve single cam. It's fucking pokey enough. I mean, for a cheap car, and we're talking sub 500 quid car like this baby. That's not bad.
The Liana, everybody.
I mean, I paid the same price as that because I like buying runabouts and running them to the ground and then focusing. Because I think if you take on a project car and have it as your daily as well,
I spend a lot more time in a car
than
you do.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer to have those creature comforts because, you know, I remember driving this.
And you hated it?
To Northumberland. Like Northumberland. It was horrific.
I love it.
Absolutely horrific.
Sound on the motorway. I think if you...
It was worse, actually, when I drove this to Scotland.
So the fastest I ever got on my Focus was in Scotland, and it was because it was like -10. Just sucking it all cold air.
Give me the cold air.
And I got 70 mile an hour. It was about over a fucking 1 litre Focus.
Yeah.
That was not bad. But the closer I got into Edinburgh, my screen wash started to freeze. Because yeah, I'd never had that experience but because it's like raining on the windscreen's getting greasy. It was raining, stop starting. It's dead cold. It was snowing as well. When to use the screen wash, it was all frozen.
Talking about Edinburgh, did I ever tell you about the time I got the train from Edinburgh to Glasgow? My mate went, it's only an hour.
Edinburgh to Glasgow?
On the train.
Yeah, it's about 2, isn't it?
2.5.
Yeah.
And as I'm going, mate, it's been over an hour now.
Me and my dad bought a Honda. It was like a Honda. It was a 4x4. It was automatic. It was like a Range Rover style vehicle, but obviously it wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That off-roader look, but fucking wouldn't do anything off-road.
Whoa! Oh, it's a dragonfly. Just landed on my arm. That's mad. Crazy.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
So the centre cost 26 quid.
Yeah.
It's fixed. Done.
Sound.
Car feels pokey.
Yeah, you've had much more car-orientated week than I've had.
Yeah.
Because all I had was work.
So
work.
That centre swap took me probably 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I left it running for an hour just to make sure the code didn't come back. And then drove it to Liverpool yesterday. And it was sound. It's good as gold. But I think I know what caused the centre to fail. Because when I took the old centre out, there's meant to be an O-ring, obviously, to stop dirt getting onto the centre. Because with the time,
I've heard that they're a common. Well, when I researched it after we saw the code, it was a common fault anyway for those sensors to go.
Yeah. So I thought if I swap the centre, I know it's the centre.
Yeah.
If I do a timing belt, then it's still fucking showing the thing. Yeah. It could have just spent it on the centre. I found out, even though that car's done 105,000 miles, when looking at the service book, it's on its 3rd timing belt. Because the previous owner had it done, and the owner before that had it done. So, obviously, we know the previous owner. I asked them what was that about, and they said, well, when I bought the car, I took it for the service and had the timing belt done because it was on 60k, it was due. The previous owner before him had just had the timing belt done before they sold it. So it was a timing belt on for about 5,000 miles.
At least we know it's been done.
And and I mean, I'd probably look at it maybe. So they say 80,000 miles on them cars. I'd start looking at when if it gets to 130, 140. Start looking at the timing belt. Do you know how much the timing belt is for a punto?
No.
57 quid, something like that, with a water pump.
That's not bad.
Oh no, sorry, 57 quid on its own, 100 quid with a water pump.
That's not bad. That's fit yourself though.
Yeah. I found it as a set with 100 quid. I could buy the water pump separately and the kit, and it'll probably come to about 75 quid. It's not bad, is it?
No.
Which was going to be my next point of call if the sensor didn't fail. So the O-ring on the old sensor wasn't there. So when I pulled the sensor out, because obviously they're just like a cap on the end, aren't they? They're just a plastic cap, all covered in oil and dirt. So I could probably wipe that back in and put it back in, but I thought, what's the point in doing all that? To put the ECU back in and find out
bit
it's
of sensor cleaner and
yeah. When I could have just put the new one in. I already had the part. I got a NTK part, which is NGK, isn't it? It's the same company.
Off the top of my head, it is, yeah.
Same company, they just make sensors. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. That's a hell of a car.
Yeah, I know.
Should we put that in the background? Competition?
They're all competitions in this country. In the UK, you can only, so if you're going to buy an M car, you can only buy a competition version. So you can only buy the M2 comp. Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't think that's true.
No, it's been like.
What was that? An M? I couldn't
that was M3 comp.
M3 comp.
Yeah.
I think it's M3, and then you get an M3.
No. So in Europe, you can buy an M3. In America, you can buy an M3. In those places, you can also buy an M3 comp. For some reason,
is this just a new?
No, this is the old ones as well. No, yeah, sorry, this is just the G generation onwards.
Yes, because I've seen old M3s without the comp.
I'm not sure if the F generation towards the end it was the same as well, but with the G generation you can only buy a competition.
Anyway, an M3 comp just pulled up.
Yeah, it was great.
I couldn't tell if it was an M3 or M4.
No, it wouldn't be an M4. M4's 3-door.
Oh, of course, yeah. But I was just looking at them.
And it wasn't the M5 because the back end was wrong.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, I'm not a big BMW guy. I was just looking at him nearly losing it on the gravel at fucking 10 mile an hour.
He stalled it.
I know.
How he stalls an automatic is beyond me.
It blew my mind.
So, F1.
But he also locked up. Oh, don't. No.
Right, we'll move on to that now.
Should we talk about the new F125 first?
Go for it, because you've been playing loads of it.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. I went into it thinking this is just going to be a reskinned F124. Nah, completely different.
I wasn't a massive fan of F124 though.
I don't know whether the hype for the F125 is because 24 was so shit. But I feel like the tyre wear...
I'm also a massive Forza player.
Yeah, true.
You're not.
The tyre wear on 25 is better. You can feel the grip dropping off. You can feel the changes throughout the lap when you take corners. The AI is amazing. It knows exactly where you are and it won't turn in on you like was a big issue. The one thing people are complaining at they keep getting brake checked by the AI in the corners. No, you're just in dirty air, mate. Which means you have to brake earlier. Which dirty air is massive. It's
not really been simulated in the old games, has it?
It is in this game, and it's really well done.
Are we doing a physics lesson about dirty air?
No, because I've got F1 to talk about because we've had a weekend. So with the 25, it's all LiDAR. So apparently they went around last year to every track they raced at.
Yeah, I've seen bits about like the AI just losing it, just spinning out.
Oh yeah, they do that as well. They'll lose it on the corners. In the wet, you'll see them fucking...
Bit of fishtailing.
It's amazing. Make mistakes to crash into each other. Just bring the safety car out at fucking the worst times as well. As I've just gone from first to fucking fourth on a safety car restart in Japan in a wet weather, which is always going well, isn't it? Suzuka, this is the issue as well. With the game, there's tracks I hated that when I play it in this one, I love it. Because it's...
Yeah, we weren't a massive fan of a lot of the tracks in the last one.
But it's the same tracks. And I'm loving them.
Yeah.
Like Suzuka, smashing it.
Yeah.
Miami, smashing it. Saudi, smashing it. Did you see the lap I put in at Monaco the other day?
Nah.
Sick. I can drive Monaco now. Because I feel like the grip is all there.
Yeah, rather, like, the last game felt like you were on ice skates quite a bit of the time.
Yeah. It's such a better game. It's so much more complete. And here's a weird thing. They've got legendary drivers. So you can have like Senna racing against you and sign for teams. You can have Schumacher come back. And then they've added the 2 drivers out of the new F1 film that comes out next month.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, and you get, apparently every month or after the film's released, we're gonna get missions where you play as them drivers as well.
Nice.
Dope. So you can play one mission at the moment.
Complaint I do have is they don't have some of the more recent drivers in the driver roster.
What do you mean?
Where's Danny Ricciardo?
Yeah. And obviously
that's the thing. He's more likely to come back than Jenson Button.
Yeah.
Or Senna. Well,
or Senna.
Senna's dead.
Yeah. Or Senna.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's you can choose to take them off. It's not, you don't have to race a career with them drivers. And they've also got Formula 2 drivers as well.
Where's Ricciardo?
I don't know if he's on it.
Where's Felipe Massa?
I think he is on it.
Where's Bottas? Bottas isn't on it.
Kubica.
Where's, what's his name?
Can I talk about Kubica? He's a fucking phenomenal driver. And his career got cut so short. And even
was he the one who broke his either his feet or his hands?
He he's lost muscles.
No,
in his
that
arm.
was who's the one that does the commentary now that used to be a driver, because his career got cut short as well because he broke his hands.
Martin
Brundle.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal driver. Do you know he was runner-up in Formula 2 to Senna?
Yeah,
or whatever Formula 2 was.
I think it was his hands or his feet that he broke, and he couldn't grip the steering wheel or
when he got into F1, he got into some nasty crashes, and then he couldn't build up the confidence. He's had a fantastic career in the feeder series. Yeah, you're correct. There's a few drivers though that just got to F1 and just didn't manage to find their feet there. One of them we were talking about today, who's just got a podium.
Oh, that sun's gonna wake and open my eyes.
I know, yeah. Who's just he hasn't got a podium. Sorry, he's come 5th place, which might as well be a podium for a Sauber. He's a phenomenal driver all the way through his career. Got to F1, couldn't find his feet. Is Nico Hülkenberg, the Hulk.
Yeah, Hülkenberg is a good driver.
Yeah,
he's just always been in crap cars.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? And he had
what was it he said this weekend?
It was something about the car was on pace, the team did well, but it was more that he thinks his position was due to the changes in the regulations with the flexi wing.
Oh yeah,
basically putting on the
because obviously Sauber haven't been using the flexi wing and everybody else has. Yeah. So as they've now taken the flexi wing off, it's pulled them back more in line with Sauber. So this next segment will be Elliot ranting about the FIA.
First off, I want to rant about Formula 1 fans in general.
Okay.
Because in the last couple of years, we've had a reigning champion of Max Verstappen. And there's a lot of controversy around Max Verstappen in terms of whether his world championships were deserved. Yeah. So there's people saying 2021 was rigged. He shouldn't have won that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 2021. The fact that, okay, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen went into the season both at each other's throats. And not only were they fighting for the championship and Lewis was defending a championship, but they were 40, 50 seconds away from the rest of the grid. They were both on another fucking planet. Mercedes were caught cheating that season with a rear wing, which sent Lewis Hamilton back to oblivion on the back of the grid, and he still managed to keep up, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Finished the season, let them race, hold. This is motor car racing, we went car racing. Max Verstappen won, right? People are like, he doesn't deserve that. Next was the cost cap. The cost cap, we're talking a breach of the spending cap regulations, which was initially thought to be 1.6%. They went over by which was actually a miscalculation, and it turns out it was only 0.336%, something like that.
Yeah.
Minor. We're talking 400 grand, which isn't even enough to develop a new front wing and race in F1.
Let alone develop, it's not enough to build a new front wing.
No. So, and they were fined accordingly. But Max shouldn't have won because they'd spent over the cost cap. I don't get that.
I mean, the cost cap is there for a reason.
So if this doesn't apply and Max is only a 2-time world champion, then should we look at Spygate with Lewis Hamilton? So Spygate was 2007.
Yeah.
He was racing for McLaren at the time. They got caught spying on Ferrari and stealing secrets. And then he went on to win the next season.
Yeah. If people are saying he didn't benefit from that, they're wrong.
They got fined 100 million. Like, it wasn't a small amount.
Yeah.
And they definitely were stealing secrets from Ferrari and were found guilty of it.
100%.
Also, let's look at Crashgate. So, Crashgate happened. Lewis Hamilton won by 1 point last season against
Felipe Massa?
Yeah. So, let's look at Crashgate. Lewis Hamilton won by 1 point against Felipe Massa.
Yeah.
At a point where he shouldn't have won, because if the Crashgate rules, the race that was rigged, was taken out of place, Felipe Massa will be world champion.
Yeah, 100%.
And so if we start nitty gritty into people's world championships, look at Schumacher. He crashed out his rival on the last race to win the championship and won it 1 year. They were caught cheating as well, Ferrari, at one point. Prost had it. There was a controversy with his world championship, but yeah, every video about Max Verstappen in the modern age, and he is the target at the moment, and social media does fire it up, is let's take away his world championships because of this, because of that. When you look back in the last 75 years of F1, the whole sport is surrounded by controversy.
Yeah.
What about the whole dash thing at Mercedes? That was just a blatant bending of the rules, and they let them race like that for a full season. Next season it gets banned, and Red Bull are up their ass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this whole, I hate this driver because of his mentality. They're all fighters. They're all warriors. They go out there to win races. They don't go out there to come second place. And they will push each other off track. They will make some terrible decisions. This whole, I hate this driver because he's not Lewis Hamilton, or he's not British, or he's not this, and it goes for all the drivers. You shouldn't hate a driver. They're athletes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You don't hate footballers because they're too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people, and it really upsets me in the community because it started to feed into the media. People know, the media, journalists know what people will click on, and we had a controversy in the F1 yesterday. The things describe what one of the posts a social media page put on today described Max Verstappen in one word. Obviously, the comments were all filled with fake world champion, but all this shite, and they're just feeding into your rage bait, basically.
So don't talk about then what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
At the Barcelona to Catalonia Grand Prix.
Yeah. So the race started well. I'm just going to put my phone on mute before I go on to this because it's buzzing. So we'll cut this. So yeah, the race started well. For Max Verstappen especially. Lando Norris lost the position, but later gained it back.
Yeah.
There was a few movement in the field. There was a bit of pushing off track from the midfield. I know Albon retired because of some damage he got, and also got a 10-second penalty for forcing another driver off track. Barcelona is a tough racetrack.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I don't think it should be on the grid anymore because the tyre wear on this track, on the
it is
calendar.
ridiculous. It's not on the calendar as of next year.
Well,
because they're moving it to Milan.
Yeah, and I don't think it's for modern F1 cars.
Is it Milan?
They're too fast to take the corners in Barcelona because it's all windy, isn't it?
That first corner, the long one, that is a
the chicane up the hill and then wind it, and you come in half throttle, on throttle. And
that first one, that first corner, the long right-hander, that is a quick corner.
Yeah.
It is flat out.
Yeah. And then also the runoff area, where if you go on to the runoff area, you somehow end up ahead of the...
Yeah.
What's that going on?
Because you can carry more speed.
Exactly. So why we got runoff areas like that? Because the amount of controversies caused by that runoff area yesterday was unreal.
In defence of the track, that runoff area is that big because of the speed of the corner.
But personally, I don't think there should be a runoff area where you can carry more speed, because you'll just go off track then.
It would be better if it was gravel.
I don't think so.
But if you understeer and go sideways into it,
yeah, it's bad.
You'll flip the car.
I do think we need to add more gravel to tracks. I know it's a big, because we like to see the drivers tip over, but they're leaning onto the white line too much.
Yeah.
And then the gravel comes in, and some tracks we've moved the white line further out so they can gain more speed through the corners. I know Abu Dhabi's, they moved the white line, didn't they? On the last exit.
I'm not a fan of that track anyway.
I don't think it's a bad track. But Barcelona is a tyre killer.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to strategy yesterday, and Max Verstappen gained the position in the first corner, lost it to Norris. He managed to get the tyre offset right all the way up until, we want to say, lap 59, 60.
Yeah.
Which Mercedes, can we talk about Mercedes at power units? Because in the last 3 weekends, we've had engine failures or electrical failures. And nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
It's quite bad. Antonelli, coming up to the corner, hit the braking zone, lost all power in the car. It was quite bad. Straight into the gravel and caused the safety car to come out. George Russell in the tunnel in Monaco during one of the practice sessions. And the time before that, Antonelli was in Emilia and took the, I forget the name of the corner, and basically up the hill and lost all power. So Antonelli's had 2 DNFs in the last 3 races due to engine power failure. And so I rate Antonelli. I think he's a really good driver, and he'd be a lot higher up.
If he could keep the car running for long enough, he'd probably do well.
This is a Mercedes issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also, are McLaren still Mercedes power units?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
The amount of corrections and fiddling with sensors and shit going on in the race yesterday for Norris. They had him pressing all sort of default buttons and everything. So they had some issues with the power unit or some components of the engine. Maybe the electrical power unit.
MGUK.
Something like that, I don't know. I'm sure that's a rapper. MGK. Fucking hell. Do you know he goes out with
Megan Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're married.
Crazy.
Yeah.
See, Megan Fox, when we were kids.
Megan Fox.
The Transformers.
Oh my God.
Phenomenal.
Can we talk about the cars in Transformers for a minute?
Yeah.
Because there were some sick cars in that. So there was Sideswipe, who was a Pontiac Solus.
Yeah.
Sick car.
A lot of them were American though, weren't they?
They were.
A lot of them we didn't get over here. Did we get was the Dodge Challenger? What was Bumblebee? Was he a Challenger?
No, he was a Camaro SS.
Yeah. Didn't he change in the later films?
No, he was a Camaro SS the whole way through.
All the way through.
Yeah. Just newer model years.
I didn't watch, once they dropped Megan Fox, I didn't watch it anymore.
I'm going to say that the Shia LaBeouf ones were far better than the Mark Wahlberg ones. And then
Shia LaBeouf is a lunatic and we love him.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
But yeah, some of the cars in the Transformers films are absolutely amazing.
They were a bit, very
American.
Michael Bay.
The films were very
explosion.
Michael Bay, like.
Is that a car film? Because it's robots and.
I mean, can we talk about how Fast and Furious aren't car films anymore?
Yeah, I mean, should we go back to F1?
We'll finish the F1 and yeah.
So, what was you up to?
This weekend, talk about
The incident.
The incidents this weekend.
So, safety car comes out. Max Verstappen's like, need new tyres because everyone pitted to get new fresh softs on. Max only had hards left, which left him a bit in the dust. Now, there's a few things that a lot of the media aren't going to cover, but as journalists, we will.
Do we class as journalists?
Well, that's what
we're two dickheads sat in front of a car.
Yeah, it cost 500 quid. Nobody's talking.
I don't think we're qualified to talk about this.
So, okay, Red Bull's got a blunder, bring him out on hard tyres, and Max's reaction was the same as mine. He was like, what tyres am I on? And like, hards. And he was like, why? I mean, even he was thinking, what's going on? Big brain Hannah dropped the ball. But he didn't have any options. He was either going to be on old softs or new hards.
The old softs were still better than the hards.
Will they though? Because this is the other thing. The safety car seemed to go on for a lot longer than it should have. And I know we were getting lap cars out the way. Then lap cars could have got out the way a lot earlier. And then we've got to wait for the grid to bunch back up and this whole fucking thing. We're talking an incident that was probably solved in 3 laps and the safety car went on for, I think it was 6 or 7.
Yeah. That safety car went on for far too long.
Too long. Restart, Max hasn't got the temperature. Oh, no. Should we talk about the brake test?
Yeah.
This hasn't been covered.
But that would have killed a lot of tyre temperature.
Yeah, of course. So it looked to me like Piastri slammed on the brakes. Norris was very close to going into the back and Max had to take evasive action. And I bet you it would have been quick on the radio. Max has just overtook me under safety car, but he was just managed to keep it under. Weird. Not only that, Max had been dealing with a lot of blue flag infringements, I'd say.
Yeah, but none of which were addressed.
None of which were addressed. And Norris dealt with them, to be fair, and Norris lost a lot of time to Max on that. Because before the safety car, Max was closing in. Comes in, gets his hard tyres. The restart wasn't great. He lost it on the entry to on the exit of the last corner.
Can't stop yawning.
Right. Should have got a can of Monster.
Yeah, I know.
Or any other beverage. That's it, yeah.
We don't discriminate.
Yeah.
Monster is our favourite though.
I was going to drink Red Bull today, but they had it on in one of the big cans. And I wasn't going to pay £5 a can.
I mean, next time I think we should go for Arizona.
Ooh. Because there's a shop started.
Yeah, we found somewhere that sells it again now. Because I've not been able to find it.
I seen an Arizona liveried car the other day. And not in person. I seen it on Facebook or something.
MX-5 Arizona. You know, the apple and ginseng one with the green and the
cherry lime, Ricky.
No, I'm talking about for the livery.
Yeah.
You know, the apple and ginseng one where it's got the it's the green with the cherry blossom on it.
No, I don't. Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah,
it's like a greeny blue.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. So safety car restart. Max nearly loses it on the exit of the last corner, which means Leclerc's up his arse.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I love Nico Rosberg, he got that whole thing wrong. They're going down the straight. Leclerc's overtook him, and he is ahead and moves over on Max. They make contact, and Max has to move out the way. Nico, I don't know what race he was watching. He was
watching the one where he spun out a couple of years ago. That's what he was doing.
Yeah. The one where he was at fault on the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that because he chose the wrong engine mode.
That's a bit like the one at the Indy 500 last week.
What? Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson downshift.
Beat any driver in any car. Downshift mid-corner.
Lose at the back end.
What are we doing? Why are we talking about circuit races? It's like fucking Kyle Larson. I mean, he drives around in a circle. Listen, don't get me wrong. I understand the appeal in NASCAR. If it was what it says it is, stock car racing. None of the cars are stock anymore.
He doesn't race NASCAR.
He does, Kyle Larson.
No.
He does.
Indy 500.
He come over to the Indy 500.
Listen, you race oval tracks. Shut up.
Yeah. Because if he was an IndyCar racer, there's a difference. He'd just come over to do the Indy 500. Which there was a bit of cheating going on in that as well. One of the teams has been disqualified and they've won 2. And it turns out the last cars they've been racing in was also had illegal parts.
So anyway,
Leclerc moves over on Max, and it's blatantly obvious. If you had not watched that back and the other thing is these replays from Sky Sports. Why are we not seeing from angles that? So we've watched a couple of different replays from different angles, and it's definitely
different reporters.
Definitely Leclerc coming in on Max.
Yeah,
because Max is holding his line, staying straight, and Leclerc is quite clearly drifting over to the left.
But due to the lack of speed Max had down the straight, it allowed Russell to get onto him. He's come into the corner, and this is where I didn't understand the Sky Pod, what he was talking about on the Sky Pod. For one, they didn't have Max's on board. Why?
But we've seen Max's on board.
I was watching Max's on board. I was watching through Now TV. I was watching Max's, but they can't get it on the Sky Pod. Crazy. And then Russell comes in, the contact, Max gets pushed off the track. Now, in that decision, I'd say forcing the driver off track, 5-second penalty at least. For Russell, making contact, causing a collision, that's a 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
If the really serious scenarios, we'll go to 10. We need to keep consistency. So now we've got the team radio, give the position back.
Is this the second incident?
The second incident.
Right, okay. What happened with the second incident?
So to me, it seems like the team had made the wrong decision and thought they'd have to give the place back.
No, so what caused the incident?
The second incident? Yeah. No, I'm talking about the first incident.
Right, okay.
So they radioed into Max, give him the place back. Max is arguing for a full lap. Max slows down into the corner. I don't know what team radio, because I can't access any team radio from Mercedes as well, so I don't know what they've told him.
Yeah.
Russell comes around the outside, and it just seems like Max has just took his foot off the brake and done exactly what Russell did to him. But for deliberately causing a collision, he's been given a 10-second penalty on the spot. Leclerc's is still under investigation and was until fucking 3 hours after the race.
It does seem like there is no consistencies from the FIA.
If Max makes it, and if Max deliberately drove into Russell, that's shocking. And it shouldn't happen. But the fact that they can make a decision on the spot about Max's incident, not Russell's and not Leclerc's, and then later said there was no further action with Russell's and no further action with Leclerc's, is shocking.
There's been speculation that the FIA are biased against Max.
There is a lot of...
And from where we're standing now, from where we're looking at it, it does seem like they are biased against him.
There's a common meme going around that Max is getting penalties because he's not British. And I completely understand where people are talking about from that, because it seems like...
Yeah, but Leclerc's not British.
I know. But seems like there's a lot of bias against Max in the media, which Sky... Can I also talk about Nico Rosberg saying Max should have been black flagged for that? That was unsportsmanlike conduct. Nico Rosberg is no place to talk about unsportsmanlike conduct.
How many times did he get done for it?
A lot. I mean, he
against his own teammate?
Yeah, there was a big rivalry with Hamilton and...
That's back with the McLaren...
No, there was Mercedes.
No, they were at McLaren at the time.
Mercedes. You're thinking of Alonso.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Which Alonso did the whole staying in the pit lane, so Lewis couldn't go out and set another lap.
That was baller moves.
And fighting against your teammate is massive. Also, can we talk about this? I seen a post saying that they were at a restaurant and Piastri come in to the restaurant and sat down at the table. Norris come in half an hour later and they didn't even wave at each other. They sat at two separate tables about...
Yeah, no, to be fair, I've seen this. There's not...
They're not very friendly.
There's not a great relationship between Piastri and
Norris.
And it goes down to the fact that both of them think they're a better driver.
Yeah.
And it was sound when McLaren were like, we're not picking the first driver, both equal. And then...
Well, they're still like that.
No, they're not.
Do you think they're...
No, because it was on Drive to Survive for last season.
and they ended up picking Norris as the first driver.
But Piastri is obvious.
Piastri,
I mean,
I think they're both as talented as each other.
Yeah.
I think Piastri is just better at holding it together.
I think Piastri fights on track, Norris fights in his own head.
Norris
he can bottle it.
He bottles it constantly.
He bottled it in the first lap of that race.
Yeah.
And if that incident with George Russell didn't happen, I think Max was on for a podium.
Oh, 100%.
If not a win.
Yeah.
Because he was. I mean, okay, sorry, the incident with the safety car. Well, because he was on the faster tyres, he was on to take them. This is the other thing, they've gone onto the hard tyres. Them soft tyres that they everyone else put on were dropping off in the last couple of laps of the race. Max had already been fucking blasted back to oblivion with a 10-second penalty.
Yeah.
So he set the fastest lap, or set one of his fastest laps on them hard tyres. I think he could have went on to win that race.
100%.
If he didn't get fucked around with a whole...
Yeah.
And then, obviously, he's made a statement. This is the other thing. We're watching drivers who get... It's hard work driving a car fast around the track. It's hard work driving a car fast in general. I get irate playing the game. You know, on track days, everything, all attention is on that, and you can get emotional. And I understand where Max's emotions. He's got caught behind blue flags. He's been brake tested under the safety car. He's been given the wrong strategy tyre. He's lost it on the corner. He's been bumped twice on the same straight with no penalties, and he's been told to give the position back. I mean, I'd be raging.
Yeah, you would be.
So to make the wrong decision at that time is you know, it's not acceptable to force another driver off track, but you can understand where his temper was. And I don't think he intentionally crashed into him, which we can't. Skypad couldn't get the onboard footage of Max, because from it looks like Russell's turning in, and it looks like Max has come along and smashed into the side of him. But I was watching the onboard for the race. I had it on my phone and I was watching it on the telly. Max kept the steering wheel straight and turned into the corner. I think what he's tried to do, and I'm not a racer or a racist, he's tried to let Russell go past before the corner and then quickly get it back and then make contact. I don't think it was malicious. Now,
I think it's maybe a tactical move that went wrong.
What I don't think is acceptable is, I mean, he had a bit of a fiery interview afterwards where all they wanted to talk about, the media wanted to talk about the story between Russell and Max, because they loved it last year when they were beefing.
Yeah.
And Max was like, I don't want to talk about it, let's talk about the race. Russell basically ran a whole press conference about how much he hates Max, and also called out Danny Ticktum, which Danny Ticktum replied and was like, thank you for putting me in the same category as
Max Verstappen. I'll insert that video here.
Hope you are all having a lovely Sunday. I've just had a very nice evening with the team and some of the guys from Porsche here in Shanghai. Just on the way back to the hotel. It has come to my attention via the Twitter sphere that a certain driver in Formula One, not to name names, but his name is George Russell, has made some rather choice comments about a certain Formula E driver. He hasn't named my name, but it's quite obviously pointed at me. Would like to address those comments that he made, I believe, on the team radio. Number one, thank you for the free publicity. We'll take that any day of the week. And two, while what Max did today was a little bit sceptical, to be likened to him at any point in my career is positive, if you ask me. Goodbye.
You know, and Danny Ticktum has had his fair share of controversies. He was calling out him, and I think Danny Ticktum's
again, though, Danny Ticktum is not
shots at F1.
Danny Ticktum is not a bad driver at all,
but he's
a knobhead.
he gets a bit irate.
He's a knobhead, but I love him because he just says it straight.
And the thing is, what's more exciting? Someone like Piastri who's like, yeah, Yeah. Or somebody screaming down the mic.
Yeah.
And fucking getting emotional.
Which is more entertaining.
Exactly. So
it does come across it like a lot of the drivers, like Piastri.
Hadjar gets emotional down the mic.
Yeah, but it's like Piastri, and some of the others. They're like, they don't sound like they're passionate about it.
No, and I think that might be the sort of next generation of F1 drivers. I mean, back in the day, we had drivers crashing and burning 90% of their body and then racing in the next 2 races. You know, or Helmut Marko, who had a tyre hit him in the face and he lost an eye. You know,
and he was there for the next race. So, yeah,
you know, it's a different sport, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of safety improvements have come into it, but I think we had sort of tougher drivers and more passionate drivers back in the day. I think now it's everyone's getting a little bit softer.
Yeah.
But the most important controversial news from that race, we had the Hulk up in 5th place.
Do you know what? Yeah, Hulkenberg, what a guy.
Hulkenberg in a Sauber beat Lewis Hamilton, your greatest driver of all time, in a Ferrari, which is one of the most decorated F1 teams.
He beat him straight up drag race down the fucking start-finish straight. That was sick.
If that doesn't scream that there's problems going on at
Ferrari,
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. Right. So you've heard us speak about Liana, and now here it is.
You probably heard it in the video. That's a stock exhaust that probably has a leak.
Yeah, somewhere. Definitely.
So I bought this car off yourself. You bought this car off.
It was given to me.
It was gifted to you.
Gifted to me after I crashed El Skoda.
El Skoda. Does it have a name? Skoda?
Yeah, it had what it came with one. Octavia.
No, I meant like, did you not give it a?
No, I never gave it a name.
My Mazda's got a name. First one was Mia. Second one's called Tia. And then we got this. You were gifted this, and I bought it off you when your BMW come up for sale. And I originally bought this to drive up and down the country, but that got cut short as I no longer need to do that. It has had a stone chip repair at some point, hasn't it?
Yeah, so this was like really meticulously looked after when my grandparents had it. Like, this car's done what? Not even 40,000 miles.
And how many times did you crash it?
This. I backed it into a wall once.
And a Skoda. That was mine.
Skoda, and I backed it into your Skoda as well. I've just remembered that.
No damage, but it was nearly bad.
I think we've got the lowest mileage example left.
So it's currently on 33,900.
Yeah. It's not even on 35,000 miles.
And it's got a couple of advisory. Like, these are an advisory apparently. The foggy headlights. I don't care. They're advisory on my Mazda.
It's advisory for rust underneath as well.
Oh, coil springs.
The coil springs.
And then underside of the car corroded. I'm not being funny. Every car's corroded underneath because the UK decided to put salt on roads.
I mean, I'm glad they do. I drive a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, but it also ruins our cars.
Not mine. It's undersealed.
They can use. This will be undersealed.
No.
Is it not?
No.
Oh. Oh, okay. And then I mean it's done me well. 110 brake. Not bad going, is it? It's 1.6. Naturally aspirated.
It's a good little runabout, and it just keeps going and going and going. This has never had a break. There's never broken down.
It has.
When
you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I blew a fuse in it.
Yeah, but let's talk about the car wouldn't start, and you were like, right, what does it need? Fuel spark, air. So you checked your air filter, wasn't clogged. You started looking at your fuel tank. Started looking at your spark plug. Your spark plug's made sparking. I checked your fuses and went, Carl, that one's gone.
That was a good 3 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Me pulled up. You were like, oh, I need jump leads. I need this. I need that. I need this. Come back and was like, Carl, that fuse.
Don't.
Yeah. But apart from that, it's done well. No issues. Oh, batteries died on it last week.
Did it?
Yeah. But I didn't drive it in ages.
Right.
I didn't drive it for like a week and a half.
I'm not sure whether it's on the original battery or not, though.
It probably needs a new battery.
Yeah.
For
20-year-old, 21-year-old, and all it's ever needed is a new fuse and a new battery.
For those out there thinking, what is this pile of shit?
We think this is the best car ever made.
I also have a modified MX-5. That's not a daily driver car.
No, it's not.
So I've put some money into it. We've put some welding into it. It will be on the channel
MX-5,
when it's... There's a few things that need doing before
it's currently not roadworthy.
Oh, no, it's roadworthy.
Why have we not got it out then?
There's a exhaust rattle and it sounds terrible.
No.
No.
Am I driving tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what are we going to do? All four of us get it? Are we going to have the female sit in the boot on the roof?
I was thinking more you and your missus going yours and me and mine going mine.
Could do, but I can't. To be honest, I don't want to drive the Mazda currently because I've just paid for a holiday, and I know something wrong will go on it, and I'll have to fix it.
What, like when the belt went?
Like the belt going, or there'll be something, and there's a list of things to do on it.
Yeah.
By the way, if you've got a project car that you daily drive, you're
mental.
You're mental.
You're mental.
Because I daily drove that Mazda for a while, and there's so many things I couldn't do because I had to be in work on Monday.
Yeah.
Now I've got this piece of shit. I can take a gearbox out. I can take an engine out, and it's fucking still out when I come back, and I can go to work and do whatever.
But we call it a piece of shit. It's probably the best car that we've ever owned because it just keeps going.
I don't think the blocks are quite the same, but they're based off the same architecture as a Mitsubishi Colt, which were very reliable cars.
Yeah.
It's a 1.6.
It is
same as the Mitsubishi Colt.
Listen, if you're young, you want a cheap car to insure, that's cheap and won't die. Go and find a Liana.
If you can.
If you can. Because when we looked on how many left, there were less than 500 left.
Which doesn't say a lot about its reliability, does it?
I think they just got old and people like wanted new cars. And
can we know the Stig drove one of these at one point?
Yeah, so the Liana was Top Gear's reasonably priced car.
It was?
It was the saloon, and this is a GLX.
It is. So this is the hatchback. But it also has like heated mirrors. It's got AC. It's not a complete... it's automatic, by the way.
Broken radio.
It's broken radio. I've managed to get it from saying off to code now. I just need the code.
Oh, you got to ring Suzuki for it?
Yeah, well, I'll just get a new radio.
Ring Suzuki for it? And
so I've got to ring Suzuki. They've got to try and find me the code, and I've got to take the radio out anyway to get the serial number on the radio.
You don't. So Suzuki do it off the VIN number of the car.
Oh.
The more you know.
Time's Suzuki close?
5 o'clock. About 20 minutes ago.
About an hour ago. But yeah, it's a good little car.
So good. That was this week's episode of Shitbox.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of car news to talk about. Loads in F1.
And we've not done Shitbox of the week this week. But that will be returning next week.
Are we a weekly thing now? I reckon we... I
think we're a weekly thing now.
Yeah. This is due a service, so that might be a...
That's going to be a good bonus video.
When
we do the service on this.
And then we got loads to do on the Mazda.
And loads to do on the Mazda. So, thanks very much for watching. And, podcast over.
That's a pod?
That's a pod.